Hello and welcome back to Death for All, and we're going to be attacking the Southern Empire in just a second, and hopefully what we're going to be able to do is actually start taking some territory. So obviously, because we have now declared war, I am going to be going in by myself against this castle. Not sure if we're going to really be able to do too well here, but the main purpose of me doing this is to level up my engineering skill, because I actually do have an engineer in the form of Soren. She actually does have engineering, surprisingly enough, but hopefully that's going to be enough for us to be able to level her up a little bit, and maybe, just maybe, we might draw a couple of vassals out of the woodwork, and maybe we're going to be able to tackle them on. Anyway, what I wanted to just mention very quickly is that when I say that something is decent, okay, because here's the thing, someone actually mentioned that apparently I was, maybe I explained this incorrectly or something like that in the previous episode, so I apologize for that, but I apparently said something like tier 6 units or anything that isn't tier 6 or isn't, you know, max skill level or anything like that, I said wasn't decent. So in other words, like, you know, as I was talking about in the previous episode, saying like, you know, how much weapon proficiency actually affects how decent you are at combat, that was kind of what I was talking about. I was talking about the differences between Bannerlord and Warband, and I was talking about how when I'm, you know, because I'm obviously playing Perisno at the same time as playing Bannerlord, and I'm seeing the stark differences between the two. So when I'm playing Warband and I have about 140, 150 weapon proficiency in one-handed, it feels a lot less good than if I were to have 150 in one-handed in Bannerlord. But that's obviously just because of the differences between the two engines. So that's kind of what I was getting at in regards to quote-unquote decent, you know, proficiency or how good that particular thing is. I'm not saying that you need to be 275 to be decent. I'm just saying that as a kind of, it's kind of like a figure of speech, I guess. I don't know, maybe I just explained it incorrectly, like I said, and if so, then I apologize. That's not really my intention, of course, but, you know, that's the thing. I should really just stop talking about gameplay mechanics, because someone always just has something to say about that, and I should probably just stop talking about it, even though I personally feel like they're really interesting to speak about, because this is the game that we all love, right? We all love this game, don't we? Don't we? I don't know. Do you? Maybe? Maybe not? I don't know. Anyway, point is, we're passionate about it, and so when I'm passionate about something, I like to talk about it, right? I mean, I personally like to talk about it. Maybe you don't, but whatever the case, that's kind of what I'm getting at here. I kind of like to talk about these things and maybe make suggestions and stuff like that, and just inspire some discussion, because it's actually kind of cool to hear some of your thoughts on the whole thing too, because I don't really... You know, I don't really want to be just talking to myself about the whole thing and have these thoughts just in my head, you know, because I personally feel like a lot of the community suggestions that I've seen over the years in regards to Bannerlord, in regards to Warband, have been invaluable, and some of them have actually been implemented into the game. And I don't know whether the developers saw that or whether it was just a coincidence or anything like that, but I think that's awesome. Any single time the community can actually directly influence some kind of development, really in my opinion at least, it really makes a huge difference to the overall enjoyment factor you're going to get from the game, because it's going to be improved dramatically from that particular addition. Whether it's, I don't know, making destructible environments, for example, because I was talking about destructible environments a very long time ago in a series of Perisno, hilariously enough. That was actually a rather amusing coincidence right there, because I think it was, when was it now? I think it was in 2014 or 2015 or something like that. I'm not sure, I'm not entirely sure on the timeline of that, but I was talking about destructible environments because a lot of people at that time were asking me, what do you want to see in Bannerlord? Because they were, well, what do you want to see in the next game? Because they, I think they said something like the next game was going to be coming out, or they were working on it. You know, the game developers said, you know, they made an announcement about it, teaser trailer or whatever. I don't even remember whether there was a teaser trailer, but the fact is, they were talking about it, and then people were asking me in the comments, well, what do you want to see? You know, what kind of improvements, or what kind of changes, what kind of features do you want to see? Talking to me, of course, you know, in this game. And the first thing that came to mind for me, because I'm a pretty big fan of the original Red Faction games, because if you know Red Faction 2, I think was my main thing. But then obviously there are a bunch of other Red Faction games that are actually really good too, but they obviously dialed down the destruction a little bit, and it was a little bit less freeform and so on and so forth. But I'm getting off on a tangent there. You don't want to hear about Red Faction. Anyway, point is, that has a massive amount of destruction mechanics, and I would love to have seen something relatively similar to that in this game as well. I would have loved to have seen that, where we would have been able to have, you know, kind of like, what is it now? More dynamic destruction. And I'm not sure whether I don't know why they didn't do that, to be honest, because I personally feel like they probably would have been able to, but that's the thing. I'm not sure on their whole deal, you know, whether they have the proficiency in that, or whether they just couldn't work out the logistics of it, or how it would work, or, you know, because obviously the game has to work on a variety of different systems as well. And you know, suffice it to say, there's actually a pretty big disparity between Warband and Bannerlord. You know, the system requirements are obviously very different, but the point is, I would have loved to have seen dynamic destruction within the siege itself. So I'm not talking about doing a siege outside on the world map, as in I'm not talking about building a siege engine and throwing the rocks at the walls and having the walls be destroyed on this little sprite right here, because this is literally like, you know, okay, that's kind of a bit meh, in my opinion at least. I feel like that's very much, I don't know. I just would prefer if I could go into the battle and I could see this destruction in real time. And yeah, sure, there is a little bit of that when you take the battering ram in and you destroy the front gate. Sure. Yeah, okay, you can destroy the front gate. Woohoo, you know, I mean, no offense, but that's very... that was in Brittenwalder, you know, that was in Brittenwalder way back in 2012, and that was a modding team. A modding team managed to implement that kind of function, so I would have expected a full development team of literal, I don't even know how many people, to be able to do something similar or better than that. So yeah, that's the point. I remember very vividly playing Brittenwalder when they had just updated it, and there was destruction. There was destruction mechanics where you would actually be able to build a ram, you would be able to go into the siege, and you could push this ram up to the gate and you could destroy it. And they already had that kind of functionality in that mod. And so obviously Bannerlord having the same thing, okay, that's great, you know, that's wonderful. You know, it's nice that we actually have that, but I would have loved to have seen more than that. I wanted to see walls being destroyed from all corners of the castle, all corners of the town, and having that kind of thing happen in comparison to how it is right now, which is basically like, okay, these two specific sections of the wall can be destroyed. Okay, well, that's better than Warband, of course, because obviously in Warband, you know, you didn't really have much that you could do. You could just basically build one ladder or two ladders, and then you would be hard pressed to actually get up on the battlements and get in there, because of course you'd be in a situation where you'd be, you know, kind of like sardines in a can. You know, it'd be very, very difficult for you to move forward because your own forces would be blocking you, and it would be a pretty arduous circumstance. You know, you'd have a very hard time trying to get inside in certain cases, of course, you know, because, you know, a lot of the different siege layouts are different, of course, but, you know, on the whole, you're going to be seeing a lot of sardine action, shall we say, kind of things like that. But that's the reason why I was saying it would be cool to see that kind of dynamic destruction that you would normally have seen in a game like, you know, Red Faction or something like that, where you'd be able to, I don't know, take dynamite or take some kind of explosive and, you know, place it. Obviously not dynamite, okay? I understand that this is way back in history. I do understand that, but what I'm saying is some kind of explosive, maybe not even an explosive, but just generally being able to destroy certain parts of the wall and not just having a predetermined place that can only be destroyed when you are outside the siege map itself. That's kind of what I was talking about way back in 2014, as I said, 2013. I don't know. It was a Perisno series at least. I think it was 0.5 or something like that I was playing, the particular version of the mod. Anyway, those series are still available, so you can check those out if you want to. I could be misremembering about the version, but that's just something to bear in mind, as we have now achieved victory against Serena here. But yes, anyway, the point is, what I'm trying to say is that that's the kind of thing that I would like to see in the game, you know, those kinds of features and so on and so forth. You know, it's less about what's decent and what's not. It's just more about, hey, I'd like to see this because I think it's cool. You know what I mean? I think it's cool. You know, it's kind of like one of those things, you know, because you don't want to consistently be like, okay, well, you know, this is a great feature, but it should be, in my opinion, I'd like to see more, you know, I'd like to see more of that. And, you know, as I say, if you don't like me talking about the gameplay mechanics and stuff like that, then that's absolutely fine. I don't have a problem with that at all, and I will stop doing it. But, you know, it's just something that I thought would be cool, you know, community engagement and all that stuff I think is extremely fun and enjoyable, but if you don't like it, well, that's fine, that's fine. Anyway, we're going to actually be going in here to try and defend. Oh, this is a very interesting battlefield. What's actually going on here? We spawned inside the tree line. Are we actually on the field where the castle is? This is very interesting. No, it doesn't seem like it. I don't see where the castle is at all, even though the castle is supposed to be nearby. That's actually one of the things that I think would be pretty cool too, to just add like a little bit of a background here wherever the castle is, because we're obviously right next to it. You know, we are basically smack dab right next to it, so it would actually be kind of cool to see the actual castle or the actual fief that the opponent is attempting to take. But obviously that's you know, that's not happening right now, which is a bit sad, but oh well, never mind. Anyway, point is, hopefully after we have achieved victory against this vassal, we will be able to maybe go on to the nearby army, because there's actually a very, very large army nearby, obviously attempting to take Hussein Folk, and I'd like to try and prevent that from being taken if at all possible. Of course, there is a very large Azerai army nearby too, so hopefully we're going to be able to get their assistance in the process. And oh yeah, actually someone actually also mentioned, why is this series so slow? Alright, so now here's the thing. I'm not sure if you're talking about my my upload speed of the episodes. If that is indeed the case, then I apologize. There was nothing I could do about that. But if you're talking about the progression in the actual series itself, in other words, if you're talking about how slow it is for factions to attack, or me to create my own faction, because I was actually not planning on doing that. I wasn't planning on creating my own faction or anything like that. I was actually wanting to stay with the Azerai. But the main reason why it may feel slower is because I'm being careful. I'm being very careful, because if you've missed the first couple of episodes, most specifically there is a moment in episode 5, I believe, towards the end of that episode, which will explain everything, and that is basically that if I get eliminated for any reason, there is a very high chance that my character will literally just die and be removed from the game forevermore, and then I will take over one of my heirs or my spouse or whatever the case may be, and that's the reason. But of course, the other reason could be that we actually have the AI changing its behavior. Fundamentally, actually, if you think about it, because I know that on the Death for All mod page, the creator actually does mention that if you are playing with the mod, you can expect to see the AI react in a very organic fashion. In other words, if they lose a lot of vassals, if they lose a lot of combat strength over the course of the time of the campaign, they are then going to be much less likely to take aggressive action. And that is, in my opinion, extremely cool. Because, of course, you know, that kind of thing is really, really dynamic. And I love that kind of thing. You know, I love the fact that, you know, the AI can actually make these kinds of decisions based on whether they think they are then capable of performing any kind of military action. Because you can see here, look at the Crusade, for example. Look at the Crusade. They have 2,789 total combat strength. And amusingly enough, they actually do not have very few castles. They actually have quite a lot. They have 7 castles and 7 towns, surprisingly enough. But the main reason, and this is the big thing here, the main reason why they are so low in combat strength is because they have lost so many vassals, because they were initially very aggressive. I don't know whether you remember earlier in the series, but they actually came all the way into Azerai territory. They actually took Hussein Falk, they took Razich away from the Azerai, and I think they were actually almost able to even take Habya. I think they were going to Habya, but I think stopped just before that. I could be misremembering, of course, but what I'm saying is they were highly aggressive early on, and they've now paid for it because they were in so many different fights. They've lost a lot of vassals as a result of that, and that's what I'm talking about here. That's the reason why I am being a little bit more careful about what actions I'm taking, because I obviously don't want to go into a fight and get myself killed for zero reason. Obviously, I've had that happen already in this series, and if I were to get killed again, then as I say, I'd probably take over as my spouse, and then if my spouse was to die, then I would take over as one of my heirs, probably as Bruce. I'm going to assume, yeah, probably as Bruce or something like that, and then, you know, I would continue like that. But that's the point. That's the reason why I am taking a little bit longer, if that is indeed your question, because obviously you didn't provide any context or anything like that as to why, you know, you could be talking about the upload speed, and in which case I've already answered that question. But yes, anyway, hopefully we'll be able to eliminate this guy. Basically, every single time I go into a fight, I actually want to try and eliminate them completely. I want to see them perish. You know, I really want to see their demise here. I want to ensure their doom. And yeah, that doesn't happen as often as I would potentially like, but I know that almost a certainty, if I were to install the other version of the mod, which is a harsher version, basically making it so that you and every other noble unit, noble troop, you know, for example, vassals and things and companions and so on, they all have the same survival rate as regular troops. Can you imagine how chaotic that would be? That would be incredibly chaotic. Anyway, Phaedon the Surgeon is getting huge amounts of kills. I have no idea how he's actually able to do that. What is he? What are his weapons? I don't even know what he's using. But he's getting a lot of kills in this particular fight. Very, very surprising to me. I mean, you know, he's obviously not taken the diplomatic oath, I was going to say. No, it's definitely not the diplomatic oath, but it is the Hippocratic oath. Thank you very much. Yeah, but he's obviously not taken that because he is definitely doing a lot of harm right here. Okay, wait a minute. Let's have a look. He killed 6. Look at that. He actually killed 6. He only has 108 in one-handed weapon proficiency. What is even going on there? That's crazy. Anyway, there we go. We were able to defeat that person, and we can now make our way onward. Let's just level up a couple of more forces here. We've got so many prisoners. I really do need to go into a town, into a neutral town, relatively close by, but we're kind of in a situation where we don't really have the ability to do that easily. As you can see, Odok is really far away. Hussein Falk is obviously under siege, so I'm not going to be able to head in there, unfortunately. But I guess Razich is close enough, and as you can quite clearly tell, we have a massive Azerai army coming over to defend from the Southern Empire's offensive push, which hopefully will happen relatively soon. And hopefully they won't take them prisoner. Hopefully they will kill them on the battlefield. We can only hope that to be the case. Anyway, let's just ransom all our prisoners there. And, oh yeah, by the way, in my off-screen time, I did do quite a lot of tournaments, so we don't actually have to do those tournaments on screen, because I know that obviously at this point we've been, I mean, we've done a lot of them, and you probably don't want to see any more of those. So that's the reason why I was kind of just trying to be a little bit conscious of that, so that we can we could focus on the battles and focus on all that stuff. Because you can see here, if you take a look at the leaderboard, I now have 41 victories over the 38 or 37 that I had beforehand. And yes, look at this, look at this. We've actually had a bunch of losses, or not we, but the enemy has had a bunch of losses. Even the Khuzait, as you can see right here, are being defeated as well. They're actually losing quite a few people. And as you can see, Kalinia, Synesios, and Justina were all killed in that battle. And that is perfect. That is absolutely wonderful. That is what we want to see. And that's the kind of thing that happens quite often. Look at this. Megarita was also just killed in battle. And that's, as I say, that is the reason why I'm playing things a little bit more carefully than I would normally. Let me see if I can get Honoratus. Get him. Okay, we were unable to get Honoratus, unfortunately. Okay, so, oh, look at this. Okay, one of our grandchildren, amusingly enough saying that right now, one of our grandchildren has reached the age of 2 and needs our guidance. Okay, so let's have a look. What do we want to go for? Do we want to go for endurance, social, or vigor? I think I'm probably going to go for vigor here. We'll go for endurance on the second one, and also gaining intelligence and cunning. Oh, okay, I see how it is. Intelligence and cunning. Going to be kind of interesting, kind of a bit of a slippery customer at some point in the future. And Eutropios is right here. He's going to be going in. Yeah, the AI is actually very good at avoiding conflict nowadays. They are very, very fast to get inside the settlement as soon as you select them. They're basically just like, okay, I'm going to run into that town real fast. Thankfully, this guy didn't. Look at that. He actually got a little bit unlucky there. Very nice to see that. All right. Ooh, this is a pretty cool skybox, actually, I got to say. Anyway, this is a wonderful, wonderful battlefield for us to be on. I have a huge amount of horse archer. Actually, I have a huge amount of, well, every kind of mounted unit. I am actually kind of a bit weirded out. I'm not sure when that happened. How do I have so many? I don't know. I guess I just continued recruiting noble units and leveling them up into mounted forces. That's pretty much it. If you want to achieve victory and you want to do relatively decently in field battles, just get a whole bunch of horse archers. Yes, just get a whole bunch of horse archers and regular cavalry, and you should be fine. Yeah, those are the kinds of things that we want to do right there. But anyway, hopefully I'll be able to get a couple of kills with my bow as well. I gotta say, I actually feel a little bit disappointed by the amount of damage that my bow does. Not sure if that's just me, but I personally feel like my bow is doing a lot less damage than it used to. I'm not sure whether the developers have changed this, because there was actually someone in the comments that was talking about this a couple of episodes back, actually. And I think I mentioned this as well in that episode, and you were commenting on that, commenting on what I said, and it was basically like, yeah, you were also experiencing lower damage from your bow, and that's kind of interesting, because I have seen a number of times now where I've shot someone with an arrow, and well, it's done about 60 to 80 damage body shot. And usually if you have a noble bow, which is what we have a noble bow. The noble bow is obviously one of the best bows, if not the best bow in the game, and it's not one-shotting opponents. But that could of course just be because we do not have maxed out bow skill, and so that's obviously something to bear in mind. You might need more bow skill or something like that to be able to one-shot, but I don't know. I'm not sure whether that's really that. Does that really make that much of a difference? I guess so. I guess it does. I don't know. I mean, I should probably take a look at that in a real quick second. I really should just have a look at it, because that's kind of interesting to me. Let me actually just see real fast. Okay, so if I take a look at my bow skill here, you can see here that 159 skill points gives me 17.5% increased bow damage. Not that amazing, right? I mean, it's okay. You know, it's a decent increase. So I can only assume that if I were to have another 100 points in bow, that's going to give me, I don't know, maybe another. I doubt it's going to take you to 30%. So I'm going to assume like 25% or something like that. I have no idea really. I've never actually taken note of these stats before. But let's actually just take a quick look at the perks, because if we look at the perks here, not many of them are going to increase your overall damage. As you can see, equipped bows don't slow you down. This is the only thing that is actually going to increase the damage that you deal with bows. And this is going to be a significant increase, as you can quite clearly see. And I mean, literally 0.5% increased damage for every skill point above 200. So it's basically going to increase your bow damage by an exponential amount. It's going to be, what is it? Like 30 something percent increase. And that's going to be amazing, because that's basically going to make it so that you're getting around 50% of bow damage increase. And that definitely would make you one-shot most opponents, I'm going to assume. So yeah, that actually explains it, I guess. That pretty much explains exactly what we were talking about. So anyway, I'm going to go for Leader of the Masses here, and we're also going to be going for Standard Bearer. Yeah, I guess. Doesn't really matter either way. But yeah, basically I'm just trying to eliminate as many vassals as possible so that our Aserai army can actually start doing things. They can actually start taking territory and so on and so forth. And every single time we are capable of eliminating one of these vassals, they have to go back to square one. As we've talked about before, it really makes everything so much smoother for our forces. They don't have to deal with as many high-tier troops. And that's the funny thing. I'm not even entirely sure whether they have high-tier troops. No, this one specifically does not. She's literally running around with 78 recruits. Look at these guys. Massive amounts of recruits. I guess this gives me a good opportunity to just shoot some things. But you can see here, look at how much damage I just did to that recruit with a body shot. I did 59 damage with a body shot. That's kind of weird, considering a recruit is wearing basically no armor whatsoever. But I don't know, maybe I hit something else by mistake, and I'm just thinking I hit a recruit or something. But yeah, I don't know. At 91 damage against the archer right there, but I may have hit him in the shot. Yeah, I hit him in the shoulder. Maybe I can get a couple more examples of the damage here. Oh, I'm so terrible with this bow. I haven't used this bow in such a long time now, and so I'm absolutely terrible. Okay, that was a neck shot. Well, that definitely makes it a one shot, doesn't it? Yeah, that's a lot easier. Shot that guy in the abdomen. Okay, that's fine. 105. It's okay, you know, it's okay, but we're obviously shooting recruits here, and they really don't have the greatest armor in the world. They are really going to be very terrible. Oh, Phaedon actually got himself murdered here, but he's not dead. So I'm pleased about that, because if he died, then I would have been... Oh, I would have been... it would have ground my gears a little bit. It would have ground my gears, because... we've been looking for a medic for a while, and thankfully we were able to find him, of course. But if he were to die very shortly after us gaining him, then it would be a very disappointing situation. But yeah, as you can see, I mean, he doesn't really have anything amazing, but he was able to go on that killing spree, surprisingly enough. Let me actually just take a quick look at him. Yeah, look at this. He has no shield. Are you serious that I didn't give him a shield? I am an imbecile. All right, there we go. We're going to give him some armor. And give him some more things. There we go. Okay, does he actually have any spear skill, by the way? Yes, he does. He does have some spear skills. So let me actually give him a spear. Let's upgrade that real quick for him as well. He's using that balanced knight lance now, which is actually really nice. He also has crossbow skill if we want to do that, but I think we're pretty fine with him right now. He doesn't have a... He doesn't have a banner. Do we want to give him a banner? Do we want to give him a banner? Maybe. Increase damage against mounted troops. Decrease range damage taken. You know what? Let's increase his melee damage. Why not? Let's increase his melee damage. He seems to be an utter beast even without that, so I think that seems pretty fun. He's also... wait a minute. Was I correct in seeing that he has no horse? Does he have riding skill? He does. He does have riding skill. Okay, wait a minute. Let me actually just do this then. There we go. And he's now wearing the destrier. He's riding that. And he's also having the lamella half barding. Okay, pretty cool. Nice. So I'm actually surprised that I did not equip him beforehand. That was a bit of an oversight on my part, but he was still doing fantastically even without that, so I guess I didn't really need to worry too much about him, but yeah, he's going to be even better now. Very, very nice to see that. Anyway, Unkid is still running away over here. Well, not running away, but he's still running around over there. And we've just taken Odrisa Castle. And what's going on at Danustica? Okay, so Danustica is currently having around 500 units in the garrison. Not sure where that other army went. Oh, they're going over here. They're traveling to Onira. Why to Onira? That's a really weird thing to choose. I'm going to assume that maybe they're doing that because there's a smaller garrison there, but I highly doubt it. I think I passed by here. Yeah, no. As you can see, there are 641 troops in the garrison there. That's a little bit too much for my liking, but I'm not sure. The AI is a little bit weird sometimes. Anyway, what do we have going on here? Ah, and then yes, there's another vote. Oh, they want to give me the castle. Of course they do. Of course they do. Okay, well, I'm going to vote for this guy just so that I can get some more relation with him, as you can see right there. And we also very badly want to give this away, so I actually will do that right now. So let's just go over to our fiefs here. Odrisa Castle. Where is Odrisa Castle, by the way? It's over here, isn't it, somewhere? Wait a minute. Where is it? Oh, now I have no idea. Is it really that far? Oh, yeah, yes. Okay, I'm definitely going to give this away. I really do not want to take care of this. Thank you very much. Yes, give it back to our kingdom, and we can then vote for someone else if we want to. So let's actually just go ahead and do that. Get some more relation with this guy, and this is just going to go to our second choice. There we go. All right, not too bad. And let me actually just see what my charm skill's at. Okay, so it's at 269. Someone actually did say, by the way, and thank you very much for this, because I'm not very good at this whole, calculating exactly, the learning rates and so on and so forth. But thank you very much for letting me know that 7 social points and 5 focus points is actually enough to get to 275. Someone did tell me that it was not enough and you would get to 274, but I assumed that that is with 6 in social, because I think that's what you said. So thank you very much for letting me know about that, because that really clears everything up, and it makes me, it makes me have a little bit more peace of mind, because now I don't have to worry about getting to 275 in charm, and then we're going to be looking real nice, and then we're going to be getting a huge amount of influence and everything. And look, there's another death. Another death on the enemy side. Very nice indeed. They're going to be making peace with us very, very soon. And actually, speaking of peace, I want to show you one thing really fast here. Look at how much Vlandia is paying us. They are literally paying us 5,350 gold per day to be able to make peace with us, which is hilarious because we actually had 11 of their vassals prisoner, and you can see their total combat strength. But the next time we declare war against them, we will be able to, well, hopefully we will be able to sweep over their castles and take a huge amount of their territory, because in my opinion, they have way too much. They have 15 castles, which is just incredible. I have no idea how they have so many still, but I guess that's because the other factions in that area are a little bit downtrodden. They probably are. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.